Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Cosmic Crone Conversation with me, Marie.
And me, Tina.
This week we're talking roughly around about Noah's Ark, the floods, just having a bit of a banter.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Floods. Let's talk about floods.
Let's talk about floods, baby.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Go on.
Should we start? Okay, I want to talk about Gilgamesh because it's way before Noah. But should we talk about Noah first and then slate Noah because of Gilgamesh? Because we have been slating. Put old Noah bless his cottons, haven't we?
I'll tell you what, we was having a chat about the Ark, and we were going, how the hell did that happen?
But the thing is, right, if you ask anyone who's a Christian, I'm going to call a Bible basher, sorry.
You mean people who have a faith?
Oh, look, oh, come on, you know. They're stories. Right, I know all stories or all legends come from that. They originate from something.
Something, yeah.
We know that there were floods, and there were huge floods, but there was never a global flood as far as geology. Because
basically, how did he get all them animals from all parts of the world?
Yeah, but the thing is, someone who's like a devout Christian will argue it.
Right.
That, oh, he did this and he did that. And I've actually got a friend who's Jehovah's Witness, bless her.
Jehovah.
Jehovah, is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
And she tends to change her mind over the years, and she's been like a follower of God, if you want to call it that, the God, the one God, for years and years. And then I remember something she said years ago about, oh, but it wasn't real animals, it was DNA they took on the Ark. But
yeah, bloke was it in the Midlands in the UK invented DNA?
I don't know. I mean, we know, there's obviously with the Anunnaki, and there is word probably through oral stories and written that there were aliens and they were probably giving us technology. So it's plausible. There could have been.
What are you on about?
DNA, that it weren't the real animals, that it could have been DNA that was taken. But at the end of the day, there was no global flood. The whole earth has never been covered in water. It hasn't happened. But saying that, with Gilgamesh's story...
Sorry, about the floods, it would need 5 times the amount of water there is actually on the earth
to cover it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Yeah.
So what else have you got to...
You really want to get into this Gilgamesh, don't you?
You go on, you slate Noah first. Is that what you're going to do?
No, it's just, we were talking about this the other day over the phone, Rod, and we were going, well, how the hell did they go to the toilet?
Apparently, yeah. Well, like I said, there's an answer for everything. There were slats in the wood, and they pooped down the slats, and then I suppose they got rid of it overboard. But the thing is, everybody knows the story is like 2 of every animal, and it actually wasn't. It was 2 of unclean animals, and it was like 5 of every clean animal. So there was a lot more.
Where's that from? There was 5?
Yeah.
Oh, from the Bible. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that book, that everybody follows.
I don't
read. Some people have written and like nicked a load of stories and put them together.
I'm just looking at my notes. It says, like, there was a flooding in the Black Sea around 5.
There's a flooding in the sea.
There's flooding in the sea. Yeah, in 5. right? Whenever it was. And it seemed like the end of the world to those who experienced it.
Yeah, in the region, which is exactly what...
In regions, it might have happened.
The Gilgamesh story is more plausible because...
Go on then, go on about your Gilgamesh, because like, as many times as you say it, I've got something funny, that I'm coming out with. So get this off your chest.
The story of the Epic of Gilgamesh, it's the same sort of story of Noah. Now, I can't pronounce this bloke's name. I've written it down, but...
Where is it?
Yeah.
Haven't you written it?
I've written it, but...
You can't read your own writing?
No, it's just a name I cannot pronounce.
All right, so this bloke... Oops, upside your head?
Yeah, so this bloke's boat...
Yeah.
Same thing. He was told to build a boat, and get on with it and what have you. And the region flooded. The region was known to flood. Now, the region...
So I'm looking at my notes.
Where the boat, because we was watching this, which we'll get to later, we was watching this about this Noah's Ark is supposed to have been found again somewhere.
Yeah.
But Nasir, Mount Nasir was where the Gilgamesh
Mesopotamia
would have happened, which now is like it's either east or west and modern Iraq. And Mesopotamia was a big place. So Turkey was Mesopotamia. So a lot of things, that's where a lot of history began, wasn't it? But Ararat was Mount Ararat. Well, not Mount Ararat. No, it was the mountains of Ararat. So actually, that was a big region in now Turkey where they think they found this Noah's boat. Noah's
speedboat. Yeah.
Yeah. And Urartu, I don't know why, I think that was what the region would have been called then. So this video that's you can see on YouTube of this person that found this formation years ago, and it keeps popping up and being renewed, and there's not really that much new information about it. It was dirt. I don't know, because obviously if it's true, which I very much doubt it, it would be a few thousand years old. Gilgamesh, actually written evidence of the story of Gilgamesh is a few thousand years old, I think. And it goes older than that through stories, spoken stories, a lot older than that. So it predates the story of Noah, which was where they probably got their story from, And
surprise, surprise.
Yeah, but it's more plausible that the Gilgamesh one happened because to them it would have been like the world. It would have been everything would have been devastated.
Know anything else, did they, in the world?
And it would
have been their world.
It would have crushed their towns, cities, whatever they had there. It would have devastated
So what
everything.
we're agreeing on is, yes, in some areas of the world,
regional,
there were floods.
Yeah,
and not knowing there was anybody outside of their worlds, maybe, it was a world event for them.
Yeah.
Ancient Greek, Zeus floods the earth to punish humanity.
Zeus as in the Greek god?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I said Greek.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Hinduism.
Yeah.
There's one, is warned by a fish, an avatar of Vishnu.
Okay.
And the impending situation that's going to happen.
Do you know what
No, I've just got information that I looked up, and because I wanted to know if there was anywhere else.
Yeah.
And I went, there's like Africa.
And I reckon they're a lot older than when the Bible was written.
Yeah, I think it was at different times as well. So Africa, Native American traditions, China, things like that. I went, similar sort of things, but he builds a boat and survives, preserving life and knowledge. Have you got any more on that? Because I've got...
The same story pops up Yeah, but the Noah's supposed to have been 3,000 years ago-ish, but it was written only like 1,000 to 500 BC. So, yeah, Mesopotamia stories go back thousands, at least a couple of thousand years before that.
Yeah, sorry, I'm listening.
I'm thinking, you know, other religions, like you say, Hinduism, how old are their religions from?
Yeah, like an idiot. I never found out.
Were they older religions? Something to look up. Were they older than
Why don't
the Bible?
you look it up?
know?
We're only having a chat.
Because I think Christianity is relatively new in the you look at history, you know, human history. Christianity is quite new, really.
Yeah,
it is.
That's what I'm saying. That I believe that different cultures, different areas of the world had their own little story about it. But there's one thing I was going to say. I'm just gonna turn. I'm on the turn.
The Kurds now live where the Gilgamesh boat would have landed.
Right, symbolism. Symbolism. That word salvation, it's a vessel of salvation. That's what people have said. It's like anything that comes, anything that is thrown at you in the chaos, you'll survive it. It's like as if it's what's the word? Stories of going through the worst things, rebuilding and getting over it. Rebirth. That's another one I put down.
Yeah.
Washing away old things to bring the new.
Yeah.
I did put down the story with Noah is that the dove and the olive branch.
Yeah.
Now, I couldn't remember anything, but it's that most people know it's a symbolism of peace and hope. So when everything's over, something comes into your life.
I remember as a kid it was 40 days and 40 nights, but actually the whole thing spanned over a year, apparently, for Noah's Ark.
Right.
The story, you know, the flood.
Yeah.
And then obviously water started to recede. But when you look at olive trees, how would it have brought back an olive tree if the whole world had flooded, an olive branch if the whole world had flooded?
Yeah.
Everything would have been devastated. And then I looked at, and then people, you know, on Google, the Bible thing again. Oh, yes, but seeds can survive in the sea. Well, they probably can, but they're not going to grow
poppy seeds
that quick.
Survive anything. When you find
cockroaches, isn't it?
Yeah, there'll be share and cockroaches when the apocalypse.
Oh, and apparently before Noah's Ark, everything was vegetarian.
Or the animals, you mean?
Yeah, well, people as well, I guess. Everything was vegetarian.
No, I mean, like if you're saying before Noah's Ark, I mean, so yeah, because how did they feed the animals?
So apparently they were vegetarian, and then what? They just started eating each other.
Yeah. Somebody left the gate open. I don't know. Yeah, because it just doesn't feel. What's wrong with writing down this myth, this legend, and putting it into a meaning of, like, oh God, I just hit my mic, sorry. You know, that this is a symbol of hope after, you know, overcoming stuff.
The truth is, archaeologists have found evidence that there was flooding around 2,900 years ago.
I don't think anybody's like
massive flooding in ancient Mesopotamia. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, just having a cough. Yeah.
So, yeah, the flooding was likely a real event, but it wasn't global.
The flooding. Remember what we were just saying?
There were...
flooding in that area.
Yeah. So when you said about, you know, Australia and that, I think they all probably had their own floods at different times.
That's what I said.
Yeah. It's just the planet going through the motions, isn't it?
It says the ark's dimension as well, how big it was.
Yeah, the cubits. It was measurements then. And so this thing that's been found on the mountain was
300 cubits long, 50 wide and 30 high.
This was the exact thing they say that this place on this mountain has been found. Like, and you can look on Google Maps.
No skeletons.
No skeletons. No.
I said Glastonbury, didn't I? No.
Glastonbury.
Glastonbury the other day. Oh,
so no, but they've got like equipment that we can do so much with technology now. And they say they've been down there and done this and done that, and they've put things in the ground, and you can see like the ribs of the boat, but there's no evidence that it's actual wood.
And if it is it a boat that's come when there was a flood that's been placed there? Because you're telling me all the animals in the world went to that spot.
Yeah, I think it's someone says this is real because they want a bit of fame.
I was just going to say, or it could be that the area needs some tourists.
And there are tourists there now, and it's
really?
Yeah, it's a
I didn't know that. That's what.
Yeah. So you can go there.
Yeah. Okay. The story tells you of. I wrote down judgment, obedience, renewal, which remains powerful in literature of religion, whatever religion they bring the story to. It says stories fundamental. Is that right? No. There is a foundations of this story that's in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and with Noah portrayed as a righteous man chosen to survive the flood. Now, you said 2 by 2. Right, one thing I haven't asked.
Went in 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah.
Right, so people went in 2 by 2.
People?
Yeah.
What people? How many people were on the...
That's what I mean. I don't even know that.
Is it just his fam, man?
Just his fam. Just his fam.
Which means everybody's basically
ancestral beginnings.
Yeah, so we're all
was Fred and Wilma brought in from down the road? And I never looked at that, Does anybody know? Pop in the comments.
What?
About who was on it.
Yeah.
Who says... Who was on it? I just don't get this. It's just not real.
They've actually built a real Noah's Ark. Somebody built one, and that's a tourist attraction in America. You can go on it and go down the different things, and there's little cubicle things, whatever, where they would have kept the animals.
Yeah, this is what we said, but put in a very better way. Logistically impossible, especially considering food waste and biodiversity means with all the animals on the boat.
Yeah, you're talking about them on there for a year. Yeah. A year.
Yeah.
It's
without any IMAC or anything. Sorry. Yeah. The architectural evidence has confirmed the ark's existence despite numerous claims and expeditions. Sorry, none.
No.
Sorry, I read it wrong.
And as much as, people want to believe that is the ark there, you have to look at Gilgamesh's story, which is thousands of years before that. And I think that the Bible was taken, or whoever, these people that wrote the Bible.
We keep saying this again and again.
They're a bit of plagiarism. They're taking the stories because they can't, for instance, with Christmas and Yule. Yeah, we know it's, like the winter solstice and Yule. They've taken that date as like Jesus' birthday-ish. Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't forget where I am. Sorry.
Because they know they could, when Christianity moved, speaking of religion, the mosque is going off. Speaking of religion, that they couldn't push people's beliefs aside and say, right, we're storming this country now and we're bringing Christianity. They couldn't do that because they knew people wouldn't follow. They have their own religion, their own culture. So they took their stories, took their dates, if you want to call it that.
We've spoken about this numerous
interwove them
times.
into the Bible, which is the same as Noah's Ark. They've took a story to make it believable because it's an older story.
I like the symbolism of it. I've got to admit, the story, wherever it's come from, right? That, you know, that things can get really bad. You come together, regroup, and overcome those difficulties for a better day with the rainbow. And I like that though, don't you? No, in all seriousness, right? Don't you think that's a nice moral? Do you get me? You know, like what I'm saying is, right, you're down in the dumps, you ain't got many friends or something, but you get yourself back on track by doing something that brings you joy and hope.
I can't see anything positive out of that when supposedly God, when Elohim, there's a debate about Elohim, that it was plural and gods, which really was probably aliens. That why would he, because men are destructive anyway, men will destroy the world and women will inherit it. So,
right, okay.
He's,
soapbox kicked
call
away.
him a he,
yeah,
would destroy everything that he created and then just pick out a couple and say, oh, we'll have them. You know, if there was a loving God, when you look at that God, whatever you want to call his name, in that religion, you know, Christianity, no,
it's not me being rude.
To be feared. People do as it's the same as most gods, really. You follow them through fear. Don't do this, or you're going to get, you know, if you don't follow me, you're going to go to hell.
Right, you've gone deeper than I was.
Yeah,
was on about, which is fine, brilliant, because that's how you feel. But I was just talking about the Noah story in the sense of what it's portraying to you, not what they've written.
No, yeah, but when you think of Noah, he obviously, in the story, he's following God's orders. He was told to build this boat that they call an ark. But it's an ark is in itself, I mean, look at the Ark of the Covenant.
I was going to say,
it's just a square box, isn't it? So an ark is not a boat shape in the first place. It wasn't meant to sail anywhere. It didn't have sails. It just floated on the water. Where's it going to go, you know? And then
it's funny that they used, you know, you got Bruce Almighty, then they had Evan Almighty, you know, in the popular domain.
Yeah.
And that was like when all hope is lost, you can survive and rebirth, regrow. You know, that showed all that, and I think it showed it in a more comical way.
Oh, it was a good film, wasn't it? It was a good film.
I mean, what you're saying with respect, absolutely. You know, about boys of God doing. Destroying. Sorry, just picking up on what you said.
And what out of all the, I don't know many hundreds of people there were by then, but what out of all of them, there was only like one family that were nice.
Yeah, and they were a chosen family to go onto the boat.
Yeah.
How dare you? How rude. What are you trying to say about everybody else?
Yeah. There must have been some nice people, not
that's
every
why I
single
asked
person.
About more people being on the supposed ark, because it just doesn't make sense. The story of morals and goodness, what I've just said, but the specifics of it, like how the hell did you stop at something? Oh, birds and everything, you know.
And another thing that
I can't get it out.
People tried to explain, the believers, was it wasn't every single breed of, like say every single breed of dog, it was just a couple of dogs, and today's every breed of dog has come from them two dogs. So it must be like a species.
Okay.
And then over the years, obviously, they've evolved.
Okay.
But,
I just don't, but I don't actually believe that it actually happened.
No.
If I'm going to make a stance.
No. I believe the flood, but I don't believe the
I believe there was areas of the world that sustained high water levels, floods. But again, did everybody know that anybody else was on the planet?
Probably not. No, not across continents.
And I do believe that people went up and they might have gone into the mountains.
Yeah.
And took their animals.
Yeah.
It means more to me, that
people
does.
Would have, like they do here.
Oh, God, that's why I was saying
I live up in the mountains.
Yeah.
I'm up high.
Yeah.
So I'm all right. It's flood.
Yeah, occasionally sings the sound of music, but that's another story. But, yeah, the point being is, yes, I believe a group of people, this is my, oh, God, I've hit my mic again, group of people, like a community, helped each other, saved their livestock, their food and things like that. And then when that maybe the area was flooded, they came back down. And I do believe that there might have been, trees, there might have been things that were underwater.
It would have been obliterated.
Yeah, this is more imaginable to me.
Yeah.
And then when they come down, they grew things on the mountain to eat and all that. When they come down, foliage is different because it's been underwater. Yeah, and what did I said to Tina the other day? What about the fish? Where did the fish go? Do you remember?
Yeah, I don't think you needed to put fish on the boat.
No. Yeah, but what about those like dolphins that need a bit of air?
But do you know, I also tried to Google.
I know.
How did they get kangaroos onto the ark in Australia? And do you know, there is no answer. All it comes up is how the kangaroos got to Australia. It's like, so the kangaroos are marsupials, aren't they? There's a lot of Australian wildlife that is nowhere else in the world. So all them ones, they went there after the flood. So they was all in Mesopotamia.
Thanks, Noah. Thanks for the...
First, there were kangaroos. And obviously, something my son pointed out was a few thousand years ago, the landscape was different,
That's what I think that's what I'm alluding to.
Deserts
that I don't realise.
Jungles. Yeah. That's
what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? If there was floods in different areas, some areas were safe, some areas weren't. Sorry, it's a fly. Some areas weren't. And that's why there's different foliage, different plants, because, I don't know.
Yeah, and obviously weather and near the equator.
Places.
And we're subtropical here in North Cyprus, which I can understand then if it's been flooded 6-7 times.
Yeah,
thousands of years. Millions.
Yeah, I have no doubt. That there was floods. Not one. There was floods.
Yeah. And when you look at the continents, we are a tiny island, but we probably were that the land mass was probably joined on to somewhere else.
I was going to say the soil out here is sandy.
Yeah.
So it was underwater. Yeah. The seashells come up. There's shells,
there's shells, fossilised shells in the caves in the mountains.
Yeah, I believe those things happened, but I don't believe in Noah's Ark.
No.
I think that's the conclusion.
I was going to say, what's the conclusion? So the evidence is, yes, there were geological floods, regional floods, very substantial evidence that there were where the Gilgamesh story was. 100% there's evidence.
Whatever you believe in, whatever faith you follow, whatever floats your boat. So I was just waiting to get that one out. Right. Whatever it does, believe in it. We're not here to, like I say, started with a conversation on the telephone, and then we went, well, for the first time in a long time, we've got together, innit? And we just thought, well, let's talk about it. So do we both agree that there was, like we say, the floods?
Yeah.
And do you know what? I believe there was maybe ways of people surviving.
Building structures to float.
I believe, yeah, I can
and they
believe
probably
that.
did with their family with a few animals.
Yeah.
And then obviously down through history, stories like Chinese whispers, stories get turned into legends, don't they? It starts with a simple story. Yeah, there were floods. People tried to save their livestock, like you said, and their families moved onto higher ground. And the stories just evolved over that, given a moral, innit? You know, if you don't follow us, you're going to die. If you're not good, you're going to die.
I've only put a couple of things on there, but yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's Cosmic Crone conversation with me, Marie.
And me, Tina.
And we'll say goodbye for now. Have a look at our back catalogue as well. We've got quite an array of topics that you might want to listen to or watch.
Pop over to @Yappy Valley YouTube channel, where you will see me and you tomorrow. As of today, which is Wednesday, the something of, is it June now?
No, it's July, you plonk.
Oh, July, I mean, yeah.
On our podcast today, you can also grab us on a Cosmic Vibe and Cosmic Sisters Tarot. Have a look at those. We're a bit slow on the go with all them. There's too much going on at the moment and too many fingers in pies, so we're concentrating on the Cosmic Crone conversation.
And pants the internet.
Yeah, and the internet's poop. So, again, take care, everybody. It's been great having you here. And those listening, thank God you haven't seen our faces. Take care, everyone, and see you next time on the Cosmic Crone conversation. Bye.
Bye.